welcome back to another building video. Today we're going to be building a Teutonic Knight for our military orders unit squad thingy. So we're putting these together. This feels like, unlike the last one, this is definitely probably going to be metal. I would be surprised if it's not. Let's be surprised together. Okay, no, it's not. It's fully metal. Okay, so we want to find the one with the submachine gun and a Panzerfaust. This one is looking to the right. It's the one with the bazooka. It's not the one that we want to build. There's this one. She has a multi-rifle. Oh, that's the sergeant, I think. This one has a sword and a Spitfire. This one has a bazooka arm. So this is the one so maybe this is the one that we want. This has a bazooka, a sword. No, there it is, submachine gun. There we go. We found it. We found them. Let's put those back into the box so that we have them all together still. This is to expand our army to 200 points. So we added the remote and we added, so I think it's this guy that we're building. We added the remote and we added this guy. And then we also have another crucier or whatever they're called. And that's the Croc-Man that we modified and built the other day, a while ago. Okay, so let's go ahead and start looking at this. So you can see his little antennas are kind of bent. I want to bend those out and clean up the flashing on them, but you do not want to cut them off. Be careful of that. Got a little bit of flashing there. We've got some hanging down here. Just look for like the little off pieces here and there. Let's cut this flush here. It's good. It's looking pretty good. Okay. I think these models look pretty sick. Really excited to see how they do in the field. Okay, this is a little complicated here. So that's obviously flashing this stuff right here. But then you get to this brick here, and that's the confusing part. So first of all, we're gonna straighten out this scabbard here by pulling it with our fingers. This is also flashing. So let's see if we can figure out where it goes and how we can probably hooks on right there. So we have that there. Is that like a magazine or something? Does that go on that? Because it does have detail. So I'm guessing this goes here. This is my initial thought. And then this piece, what does this go to? It's interesting. That's an interesting one. We might have to cut it off because we don't know what it does. The arm, this is the part that goes into the chest here. So we're keeping that. The hand, obviously we're not cutting off. Some flashing here. Got lots on the sword. Just try to get it as clean as you can. This is a little piece right here. It looks like it's getting in the way of things. And then you can take your knife, and it's soft metal, so it's easy to cut with this. And we're just gonna straighten that out as well, as best we can. Okay. And we got this other leg. So we got this piece here. This is all flashing. If you can bend it with your finger, that's actually, as I say, if you can bend it with your finger, it's probably flashing, but then that's not true of some of the stuff because you can bend the scabbards and stuff with your hands. So this is definitely also flashing. It's kind of flat too, if you look at it. This looks like a flat piece. So we're just making wild assumptions in here. Clean that off. Some piece here. There's a piece on the back of this foot. Sometimes it kind of folds up onto the metal. Just want to make sure you get that too. Okay, so that's all the pieces cleaned. We do want him on the base, probably right here-ish. Let's just mark it with this really quick. So it's gonna help us get that out. Okay, so now we're gonna put our leg in. It's got a little piece of square there that this does not. Where does this go? This goes like this, goes like that. You can see it doesn't quite fill in the gap here. And that's because we have some extra pieces on here that are preventing it, like this guy right here. So we're gonna cut it as flat as possible so that when we get in there, you don't want to cut the back of the gun. So just get there. Okay. Now we get to our super glue. Remember, it's always super glue for metal models. You can't use plastic glue or anything like that. It's not going to work. Just getting it built out there. Put some super glue. I put a good amount in there because it helps it stick. Then we will put our piece there. And then, whoops. And then hold it for a little bit to get that set. So then this has to go in here. So there is a square there. Okay, cool. It's a magazine for the back of the gun. See? Thankfully we didn't cut it off. And we waited till we got the model together to see how it goes together. So there's a little square in the butt here. We're gonna put some glue down here. This glue's like on its last legs and I'm just trying to squeeze it all out. Being a little thrifty with it. So put some glue there. It'll also help reinforce that joint there. And then we will take the little square that we see right there. And that's gonna go into that square hole there. So it goes like this. Oh, is that a bazooka? I think it's a bazooka, but that's the submachine gun. Okay, now it's coming together. Now I'm seeing what it is. It's kind of hard when it's all not together to see what it is. Oh God, this thing's being a little rascal right now. Let's just get this together. Let's push, just give it some pressure. Let me get this box out of the way. And that should be okay if we just kind of lightly handle it now from this foot because it doesn't have any of the glue on it. I just want to switch to my free hand because it's the hand I can do stuff with. And then we're going to put our last bit of glue into this big ol' arm joint. And, oh God. Oh God. All right. Just try to keep it together. We're not putting any glue on that hand yet, so we can definitely move it later. So don't worry about it not touching that right now. Come on. Come on. Stick together, you son of a gun. It's one of those classic, like, 1 foot on his 1 foot pose too, which is not fun. For me anyway. Let me see here. Now we can kind of, we'll take our clippers, but we're not gonna squeeze. We're just gonna use them as like a plier to pull the arm up to where it needs to be. And then we're just gonna sit here and give it some pressure to stick it all together. Yeah, this one is really wanting to break free. It says, we don't want to be in there. And you can see we have a little gap here on his hand. You can kind of take this and squeeze it to see, but it's gonna cut, so you want to be careful. You can also leave it and then put a little bit of super glue in there to gap fill. So we can just take some super glue, put it on our mat here. I do this a lot. And get a tool of some sort, scoop some super glue on it, and then just kind of dollop it in there. But then you want to clean out the details because you don't want that to get filled in. And then this fell off. This guy's just a big old hunk of metal. I'm gonna put a bunch of glue in there. Got an idea actually. Well, I do have accelerant now, so we can use the accelerant. I don't really use it often, but I think this is gonna need it because he's kind of being a jerk. So we're gonna clean the super glue off this with our finger. We're gonna get our accelerant and we're gonna spray it. Oh, is it just leaking out of here? Jesus. Well, this is a non-working spray bottle, so that's cool. I like that for me. You can just tap it in here. You can just put it on there like that. It's also all over my hands now, so just be careful because it does burn if you touch the super glue with your finger during this time. So just be careful. And we're putting it in there. Okay, well, it took a little longer than I wanted it to, but we're here. You can also drop it in there and it's gonna seek out those little gaps in the model and fill it in there. Okay, that was sucky. And then we're gonna cut out a hole for him to fit in. I use my little drill just because it makes it a lot easier for me. But you can use an X-Acto knife or anything really, the clippers that you have. Where it's cutting out a hole for the peg in his foot, which is pretty big. I did some drilling in some, oop, that's probably a big hole. I did some drilling in a model and it kind of got stuck on here. So I had to figure that out later, but. Okay, and then we'll grab our Teutonic Knight here and whoops, we'll get some glue out. Get on the piece that we're putting in. Make sure we have the front facing the right way with that little line being the front. And then we push him in. Try not to touch a lot of the model to get this guy in here. It's probably easier just to put him down here and then add some pressure with this. There we go. He fell over. And there. He is on the base. And that is how we put together our Teutonic Knight, albeit it took a while to get the glue to set up and stuff like that, but we did it. And thanks for watching. And let me know if you like these assembly videos for Infinity miniatures, or if you want to see any other kind of stuff like that. Yeah, the feedback. Thanks, and I'll see you guys on the next one.